Hello everybody and welcome back to Forever and Ever, the Kelly Fans Podcast, Season 4, Episode number 34, coming to you live in living colour from Limelight Studios in Irvine. My name's Paul and I'm joined by my friend and co-host Callum. Hello mate, how's it going?
Not too bad, man. What about yourself?
Really good, mate. Really good.
Delighted to see you. This will be the last week of both in our 30s before.
That's right, mate. On Friday I turn 40, everybody, so big weekend for me. Life begins at 40.
Well, you've said that the 30s have been the happiest years of your life.
Aye, I've loved me.
You had that kind of talk with me when I was turning 30.
Right. I know, I love my 30s. 30s have been really good, but my 40s will be even better. That's what I believe.
Aye, that's that. And no gift to give you on air, but I gave you it last week after the pod, didn't I?
I got two lovely gifts for Cal last week. I got a lovely bit of Smith's artwork that will take pride of place, and I also got The History of the Russian Revolution by Leon Trotsky, which I had to confess to you, I'm ashamed to say is a stretch for me. Very academic language in it.
Well, that's why I've got you.
He's trying to push me.
Pull you up a few levels, can you? Already know all the big fish in the wee pond type thing, so really progress your Russian Revolution skills here,
Aye,
man.
so no, as it's pushing me, but thank you for that again, mate. I really appreciate it. So, as you can imagine, folks, quite a bit to get through. We've got no game to preview, maybe not a bad thing. We'll talk about Falkirk at the weekend there. We'll answer all your questions on the X and the forums. Cal and I are going to answer the questions because Jamie is going to be asking them tonight. So Jamie is my new friend that we met who approached the podcast to ask for a wee bit of on-camera experience because he's going to be a famous journalist in the sporting area one day. So he's cutting his teeth. So he's going to be on in the second half to show me up.
And that's it. And every big podcast needs a good Jamie on it.
Well,
they?
That's right, man. Jamie, can you get that up, please? So
we need to start doing that first too, man, and getting him to just pull things up.
Maybe once
the screen, man,
into the new spot, man.
You never know, man. That could be a good shout, aye.
But okay, everybody. So unfortunately, we will need to talk about Saturday's embarrassment up at the Falkirk Stadium. Cal, you were in attendance. I watched the game in a local bar with some people that we both know, including former media man Lachlan Hyatt, who popped in. He finally got a Saturday off, and he wasn't letting Kelly ruin it until he went in and watched it and then let Kelly ruin it. So it was great to see Lachlan. You were up at the game, mate. Absolutely horrific, as bad as it's been.
Just the nightmare start, to be honest, innit? Like, it's you couldn't dream of a worse start to a game of football. Now we were extremely lucky to get away with no being 2-down within the first 5 minutes, and I think you've just got to settle, and it never ever comes. I mean, it's such a strange one because it could have been, without even reactionary or going over the top, genuinely could have been 7 or 8 and no complaints. Like, I mean, that's as one-sided a game as I've seen Kilmarnock against any side that's not the Old Firm, if I'm being honest.
Good point.
But I've got to give Falkirk credit. Well, I think that they're a great side to watch. They're everything that we'll know at times. I know that we've seen a massive improvement in the style of football, and I think that was actually our kind of downfall on Saturday, if I'm being honest, because I think it was a bit of naivety to go with that system. Of course, Gaby contributes to the Kelly Chronicle as well, with his kind of tactical piece hit the nail on the head with it, with regards to like us playing that kind of box diamond formation. No suits us when we're let it cause Celtic so much problems because they try to play through the middle of you. Falkirk wanted to use the wings, get what I mean? So it just forced everyone out there, and 9 times out of 10 it was a 2-on-1 with our fullbacks, you know what I mean? And our fullbacks can't defend at the best of times, never mind against guys that are just full throttle running at them all the time. Calvin Miller and that was unplayable, to be honest, and that guy Barney Stewart just seems to be banging in goals all the time, and all different types. Big striker, really good in the air, but he's in the right position to slot things away for 5 or 6 yards as well. So horrendous performance, to be honest, but and it's one that you think that's potentially knocked the stuffing out of us, man. But we've just got to, Ken McCann said after the game that we've not got a game that we don't want that, but maybe it's not a bad thing, and kind of gives another week, and we just really need to start addressing this defensive frailties because we're horrific at the back.
It's the worst in terms of just out and out defensively. It's the worst I've ever seen by a distance, and I think the stats can prove that. Jamie helped us with some research and all. We're now the worst defensive record in Scotland across all the leagues.
Right. Champ, League 1, League 2.
Kelly are the worst. On average this season we concede a goal every 43 minutes, over 2 goals per game we're losing. And actually it's getting worse rather than better. Stats tell you half the story, because there's no question on the eye we're a bit easier to watch, creating a lot more generally than we didn't as much on Saturday, but defensively it's an absolute shambles, mate. The fourth goal in particular, I think, now they're all a horror show. I really struggled to think of a simpler goal that we've ever conceded. The boy on the left hand side just ghosts by Shoning Larsson, who doesn't make any attempt whatsoever. There's no even a clever run made. It just goes right along the 6-yard box, and my 2 centre halves are stonning, and the is that Barney Stewart's that one his, just puts it in the net. And you actually, like, it's quite unusual to see a goal like that at any level, really, without one of your 4 defenders either try to make a tackle, either putting the opposition under a bit of pressure. Again, man, it happens. Folk get dragged out of position, and maybe somebody's too quick for you or too clever. That can happen at any level of football, mate, for under 5s right through to guys playing our 35 and Champions League finals. But it looked like professional football players against guys that never played football before. That was alarm bells for me, just how easy it was for Falkirk to score their goals. Yeah,
absolutely spot on, in particular with that 4th one, because again, for my view in the ground, as with the Kilmarnock fans, as you said, it's just so easy. You're thinking how easy it was for, I think, Miller again gets past Larsson, which had the go of him all game, to be honest. But it's the ball in, and again, just Shelty Brown's neighbour, and then obviously Dees is covering the space. But for me, that's on Shelty Brown, that goal. It's he's got to stop the cross coming in. I mean, well, Larson's got to do better in the first instance, but when the ball comes in, it wasn't like even like a massively drilled ball.
No, it wasn't a brilliant whip.
It was
cross.
Just,
it was like such
I couldn't believe it. It was like
easy ball
across. It was like in slow motion for him. He just ghosted in between them, bang, goal, and they're just like, we're not helping ourselves, because the irony being that because of how high a line Falkirk were playing, which would have been evident to everybody, I was still like, they could still be vulnerable at the back. We scored a brilliant goal with Kilty. It's a brilliant finish. Hugo, again, who wasn't as good as he has been the last few weeks, but good, clever ball inside. Kilty with a great finish, and you're thinking, right, could we pull back 3 goals? I highly doubt it. But we even get a good half chance where Larsson comes in on his favoured left foot, but it's a pass back to the goalie, and then you're thinking, right, coming out. I thought we would have changed it at half time, and I was amazed that we never changed it, if I'm being honest. And then to see that Falkirk obviously scored within they're 5-1 up by 56
minutes. At that point you're thinking this will be 7 or 8-1 here, because
genuinely
we were so far off it. And that's one thing I think, however many episodes we've done, must be got to 200 now, I don't think we've ever accused anybody of trying. I think there's been players we've critiqued, rightly so. Maybe some folk have thought we've been harsh on certain players, fair enough. That's the first time I can ever say I thought a few of them putting that full effort in here, because it was simple things like no trying to stop a cross, no tracking men into the box. I thought everybody was guilty, but I thought the midfielders in particular, kind of inexcusable, mate. And I don't take any pleasure in saying that, and let me preface that by saying these guys are much better football players than I'll ever be, no more about football than I'll ever know about. I'm not really qualified to comment on the intricacies of professional football, but I don't know, man, maybe I'm a mile off here, but that's the first time I can honestly say I'm like, what, are we not even putting enough effort to make it difficult for them? Because they just were playing through us. And again, you're right, they're a decent side, but they're not that much better than us. Well, they shouldn't be. That was what worried me, that and we never really kind of rolled back into it. And when you go down 3, it was 3-1 at half time, wasn't it? You don't get any pleasure for it, mate. But if it finishes 3-1, you can put you can sprinkle a bit of glitter on the shite there,
and then
to be like, we second half competed. We didn't even compete.
No, because it's one of them. Like, we're on here the other week talking about the Celtic game, and as Rangers found out yesterday as well, you're like, the 2-goal lead is always such a horrendous one, because you're like, if you don't go and get the third, another team score, then the pendulum swings, as we all well know. But with that, I wouldn't quite say go back in the game, because you're still trailing by 2 goals. But if you just come out and grow yourself into the second half, Falkirk, and you start having a bit of pressure, you never know what can happen. And I'm not saying that we go and turn around and we come out there winning 4-3 or whatever, but you're like that, just at least grow into it, take control of the game. And we just never had control of it, man. Falkirk had control of it, and I didn't realise till I watched it back, and I think they play one long ball and we get a head onto it. But I actually thought that their first goal, our first touch of the ball was Shelty Brown putting in the net, but I think Shelty Brown headers it before that. Right. But we don't get near them, as you said, right? Like you say, we don't get near them at all, and that's straight for kick off. And again, I've not seen it back, but I think we get away with one with the second, because I did.
I'm very lucky. I thought the goalie's root it. The goalie takes 3 steps behind his line. But that's the strange bit for me, and that's probably the bit that's worried me in reflection of the game. It's bad enough you're doing 3-1 again at half time to Falkirk, whatever. But the natural kind of flow, how the games usually go, is the way you've described it there. Like Kelly would sort of kind of come back into it, and then after 70 minutes, the subs come, the game peters out, and it finishes 3-1. Again, that's usually how these things go.
That's what happened the last time.
But Falkirk went further away from us, to the point where it was like you're saying, been up at Parkhead or been up at Ibrox when they're having a good day, and you're just get us out of here. Falkirk, mate. It's Falkirk we're playing against, and it's a big worry. I had a wee look, not only because obviously it's been a horrific season, right? No question. But I've actually now looked over the last 50 league games, right, to see, because it feels like it's misery all the time, right, for a long time. So out of the last 50 league games, Kelly have conceded 90 goals, right? 90 goals in 50 games. Won 12, drawn 12, and lost 26 of our last 50 league games, right? I mean, that is an appalling record in the league when you think half of them are at home, and how many of them are against Livingston's, Dundee's, Falkirk's, Motherwell's, and you're winning 12 of these 50 games. It's absolutely shocking, man. And once again, my hat's tipped to everybody that was up there. Sold out. We'd have sold 1,000 tickets again, mate, if we had the capability to do it. Folk are blindly backing this football team a lot of the time now, and it's really, really difficult to put a positive spin on that one, man, because neither the performance nor the result is anywhere near good enough.
No, there's no positive that can be spun at all here, because it's one of the most one-sided games of football I've ever seen, and that's what I'm saying. It's more not talking about Rangers or Celtic or Hearts throwing money at it. It's like Falkirk. It's saying, I hate saying it like that, but a lot of it's they're players that were in League One, you know what I mean? But the clever recruitment for McGlynn in the summer, and again, there's so much pace, man. It's something that we've sorely lacked, and we thought we'd addressed it properly in January, but again, I think that this system's got to get ditched now, to be honest. I don't think this diamond box, whatever you want to call it, in the midfield's got to work. We need Curtis playing as a winger in the final third, and no try to cut, because we're vulnerable at the back anyway, you know what I mean? So never mind we're like trying to play Curtis and Watson trying to press wide and then coming in to cover the space. It's just not working, man. It's not working, and I think that whether the centre halves will get shook up a wee bit as well, because really, like, it's indefensible now. Like with the goals that we're conceding week in, week out, you've got to change something. I think so. I don't see how. I think for the good of the squad, you've got to change it, because if you are George Stanger, Zach Williams, Max Stryek there, and you don't get in now, you're thinking, I'm never going to play, right? I am never going to play now. So they've obviously got this bit of time to work on it now, which I think will help and makes the likelihood of a change probably more likely, because it's not just gone from week to week. They've got 10, 12 training sessions to go, right, we're changing this here. Thinking about that then, what kind of system would you change it to, and what do you think the personnel could be at Hampton Hearts to give you the best chance of getting some? It's honestly such a hard one, because I tried to sit down maybe a week or two ago with even all the new recruits and trying to think who would I play and where, because the fact of the matter is that, like, Lyons and Watson, completely underperforming, and they'll be the first to admit that themselves, you know what I mean? They don't need us telling them that, but I still think that, like, out of habit they get picked, you know what I mean? Because despite Watson being well off the boil for a couple of months now, to be honest, like, you still think, oh, it's David Watson, he's capable of producing something. And you spoke about effort there, and at least you know that the effort's always there with him. Like, you can never be accused of no trying, and I'm not saying others can, but I think that you need, I just think a bit of structure, man. I think it was too naive to try and go and play like that against despite me saying that League One, Falkirk and all that, then you're like, but the players have been playing together for 3-4 years, knowing this system, knowing how they all play, and bringing in 1 or 2, 3 players that complement that style. Whereas we're 6 weeks into a project, really, you know what I mean? So I just think that you need to go with a solid as you can back 4 across the middle and 2 up top. Or for me, because John Jules isn't now, I'd play a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, and I don't think we can get away with playing the 2 strikers.
And obviously Dackers is away today. He's away to South Korea, no on holidays, signed for a football club over there, who've apparently paid 6 figures. Flecky was speculating whether it's 6 figures in South Korean currency, which worked out about $2,000 or something. Might be that, it's unconfirmed. Good luck to Big Marcus. But that leaves us shorter up front, kinda. But I think that's why you need to go one through the middle now. So you've got the option of Anderson or Watkins, or you play Hugo through the middle, you play Kilty and Finlay Curtis either side of him. Midfield 3 of something like Watson, Tish and Polworth, something like that maybe. In a back 4, you've got to get Brandon back into the team. You've got to make a change at centre half, whether it's Dees comes out or Shelty Brown comes out, and hope Mayo's back fit, or Guy Stanger another go. Left back, I don't know what you do. I didn't think Thompson was. I think he got a wee bit of extra stick on Saturday. I didn't think he was the worst offender, to be honest.
Definitely.
I thought Shoning Larson was the worst of the two, to be honest with you. So maybe Shoning Larson goes to left back, maybe Thompson stays there. Do you put D's at left back? Because I think is that mental to get him out of the middle?
It's such a strange one, because obviously McCann and Dodds will love D's because they worked with him at Inverness, and I actually think that playing boys into the middle of the park have improved for that, because they're trying to play through these quite a lot, which is you would have never seen that under the likes of McInnes. But some of his best football was at left back, but in a team that was like when Mail's at right back, you know what I mean, where your fullbacks don't need to provide width, whereas they know that's exactly what our fullbacks are trying to provide, because they're playing with a box in the middle of the park. So I think they need to come up with something different, because the goals that we're conceding week in, week out. And the only thing, you're right, because it's definitely the worst defensively I've seen us, but just when I think back to the St Mirren game, and we get away with it obviously because we won 4-3 and we deservedly won the game, but that's the only thing that really reminded me, and again I apologise for bringing this up, of the COVID season, because how many times did we get ourselves a hidden games and we just couldn't get away with folk, or you're like, we can never shut a game out, and that's something that I feel's coming back. And a lot of this maybe comes to McCann's style of management as well, because, and I will be the first to admit, like, I actually did think his Dundee team played a lot of good football, and I covered 1 or 2 games when he was Dundee manager once at Thistle, not brilliant, but they still couldn't win the game, you know what I mean, but they were playing some great stuff, but just an absolute calamity at the back. And I think his history's shown us. I want to go and obviously enjoy watching Ken Kelly playing good football and all the rest of it, but shore up your defence, man, you win points, and just it's such a shame, because it was such a feel good, and I think even completely different mood, even if we get beat, but there was stuff to go by. You're thinking, right, Falkirk are cemented in the top 6 and we've no beat them all season anyway, but with the manner of defeat, it's just kind of not to stuffing it as before we got into this huge game against Hearts. And I was a wee bit confident before, like, we would take points, but now I can see is we had relatively decent performance, but I just think Hearts will be too strong for us. But that's something we'll come on to next week.
One thing you can change straight away is the goalkeeper. Stryjek has to play. He has to play. To me, there's no excuse. If he's fit enough to be on the bench, you've got to get him back in the team, because the only time we've looked defensively solid this season was when he was in goals. So you've just got to get him back into the team. I feel very, very strongly about that, to the point where I'm like, he's probably the only guy I would definitely pick. Kilty, I think's done well, scored a good goal, and he's looked lively. But other than that, I think there's a case to drop them all. But I just can't get my head around why he wouldn't play Stryjek now. I just don't understand it.
I think he's got to come in at exactly what you said when you think of how defensively strong we were earlier on the season. It's no coincidence, and we all knew it was a huge issue at the time. Like, we're well aware of that, and Kettlewell's defence at that time, but it was your fault for no recruiting an adequate number 2 at that point. But I think Max has got to come back in, a bit of presence at the back, if nothing else immediately, because as you said, Bruce, at times he's looked alright, other times you're thinking, come on man. But I just think that's the modern day goalkeeper now. Like, I don't think you get many goalies that are trustworthy, but I think
people are trustworthy people. You want to comment on that?
Too many folk watching, mate.
You want to back that comment up?
Too many folk watching. A story for another day,
right,
man.
Okay.
But I think that we've got to get Max back in, and as you said, I think folk just want to see a wee bit of a change, man, like in something else to build on, because defensively now it's just no working, and I've seen no signs that it will work, because even when we've looked good in games, we look still far too calamitous at the back. Aye,
very, very tough, man. Right, we're going to head to the break shortly, but before we do that, for anybody who doesn't know, we managed to get a very quick chat last week with a real cult hero. I was on the phone to Suleimani Koulibaly, and it's out on the Patreon, so we did a deep dive into his time at Killie and his kind of wider career, and then off the back of that I messaged him to try and get a chat, and he was very accommodating, so we did that. So if anybody fancies hearing a wee bit for Sully and remembering the good times and some of the incredible goals he scored, sign up for the Patreon and you can get a listen.
Wild to think that's 10 year, innit?
10 year, I know.
Absolutely frightening, but a great listen. Of course it was yourself that interviewed him, and really good, man. Like, short but sweet kind of thing with that, like, cause that's something that I've probably been guilty of before. You're trying to kind of bleed content out of folk, whereas folk just want to hear the good bits.
They want to hear the nitty gritty, don't they?
And it was a really good listen. Speaks very, very good English.
And he speaks very fondly of the club, and has definitely made efforts to get back to the club as well. So it'll be interesting to see if that ever comes to fruition. He's 31 now, silly, but so there you go. That's something that might brighten up your day. But really, really disappointing afternoon, and I think we're all glad of a wee break now, mate. Would you agree with that?
Indeed we are, man. So well, you've actually got a break coming up as well.
Aye, and my beautiful wife's taking me away for my birthday next week. We're going to Madrid. I'm currently in the process of trying to acquire some tickets for Real Madrid versus Manchester City on the Wednesday night.
Who do you support, man? Been big Smiths fan and all that.
Who would I support out of Man U or Man City? I'm into Man U now.
Are you? After going down?
After
all the years that you slagged me.
Slagged you, I used to wind you up. But
although, what I will say is, this man called the decline of Man United.
I did say that, didn't I?
Back in 2014.
I said they would go longer than Liverpool without winning the league.
Aye.
Didn't I?
And me and Big Cree laughed at you.
Who's laughing now?
Exactly, man. So
right, you put your phone in your hand and your information device, so you get something you want to say. Just get happy birthday messages.
Aye, hello to a few folks. So right. John Wardrobe, who I met in the Central Bar in Glasgow a couple of weeks ago.
Works in Auchenharvey.
Oh, does he? I didn't say that, man. Aye. It was good to meet him, man. So he came up to us when me and Donzie were in our way back for the Sopranos thing. Donzie was already doing check the train times. Then he came up and had a good chat, man. So
class. Say
hi to John, and also Zachary Little, who is Kathleen's grandson, who goes to mass with my mum. So Zachary likes listening to the podcast. Big Kelly fan. So thanks very much, mate.
Nice one. And did you see Michael Imperioli was at the Salford Lads Club?
And Ricky tagged us, and that's like the best.
Clark Kent tagged us and said it's the most FEAE crossover ever. The Sopranos and the Smiths meeting.
Again,
happy days, man. That was class. So that brightened me up too. Right, okay, everybody, we'll take a very short break there, then we'll come back and answer your questions. But before we do that, here's a little word from our sponsor, Nick Davis at Allied Surveyors Scotland. Allied Surveyors have been carrying out home reports and valuations across Ayrshire and here in Kilmarnock for over 20 years. Lifelong Killie fan and company director Nick Davis is here to help you if you want to get your home valued and sold. Alright everybody, welcome back, and a huge thank again to Nick Davis. If you're needing anything surveyed or anything in that kind of sphere of life, he's the man. So his contact details will be tagged onto the pod as ever. Give him a call on 01563 572 341. That's for the people who haven't got the visual. You're just listening.
This was me, man.
Aye.
That was me that caught onto that, wasn't it?
Absolutely, mate. You're sharp as a tack,
Exactly, man. So Nick owes us one, mate. Knows if the sponsorship's not just enough for us.
Aye, we want more. Right, so for those of you who are eagle-eyed and are watching, you will have noticed that Cal was now next to me instead of across from me.
Just wanted it to be.
Just a united front. We just wanted to do the podcast looking into each other's eyes.
Both in your 30s, mate, for the last time, mate. So
so across the table for us, we've got Jamie. Jamie Boy has joined us before. He helped with one of the Patreon episodes. Jamie is an aspiring young sports journalist. So Jamie's going to take over the question asking duties. How are you tonight, mate?
I'm great, mate. Thank you very much for having me on. I mean, I'm delighted to make my full podcast debut of the day. It's quite exciting, but yeah, how are you?
I'm not too bad, mate. You're looking very smart. Fit check's good.
About to say that tile's
Fred
brilliant,
Perry, mate.
Perry on, mate.
Putting us to shame, man. I've got Sports Direct number on.
Primark, mate.
Oh, there you go, man.
Primark, why did I say? I don't know what I say, mate.
You're under pressure because you sit next to me.
I know, mate.
So you were up at Falkirk, mate. So have you recovered?
No, quite. Still quite bitter. Not gonna lie.
Aye,
it was
tough.
quite a tough watch. It hit me quite hard.
Hit you hard, but and also you would have been home later than you normally like to be having time for Gladiators or not, didn't you?
Aye, exactly. Exactly. I know it would have been. It was a poor day.
Double
Poor
whammy,
day.
mate.
Aye.
Poor, right?
Didn't think it could get any worse.
No, well, there you go, man. Right, so Jamie, you've got the questions in front of you.
We'll jump right into it.
The questions from both the KillyFC.com forums and the X. So you fire away, mate. We'll try and answer
So we'll
them
start
best we
off
can.
with the forums, yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
That
So
Perfect, mate.
Confidemus 1869 has got in touch to say, glad I was out in Glasgow on Saturday and didn't have to watch that game. Haven't seen the highlights, probably never will, but conceding 5 can't be taking many positives from that. Selling Dakars, didn't see that one coming. Wow. Hearts 8pm. By the way our defence is, I feel we can't win this one. Who and what would you change about our defence for a week on Saturday?
So we just kind of covered that one there, just talking about what we could possibly try and do. 4-3-3 and change a goalie would be my answer.
Aye.
I'm with you in that 100%. Be Mikey boy to ask the
I'll be
question,
Mikey,
innit?
aye. So don't bother Mikey, you don't need to see it now, mate.
I hope he had a good day out in Glasgow.
I've sitting thinking about that when you were talking about the shape. I was thinking about a 4-3-3. I think that looks the best. We've got a lot of midfielders.
Aye.
No as many fantastic strikers since John Joe's away, but I think I agree with that.
4-3-3.
Exactly that, man.
Right, let's try that.
And
right.
then I think so. The Big Rings got in touch to say, with the funds received for Dakars, would you foresee us going to secure a free agent centre back? Or is it too late in the day to change personnel?
I think it's one that we'll have to regret, man. That we never signed an experienced centre half in January. I think we're all crying out for it as much as we were obviously delighted to be getting a winger in the building when Finlay Curtis and Nicky Boy, but who made his debut.
He came on, aye.
But I think that we badly needed an experienced centre half, and we went through this time and time again last season. Not just the quality of Joe Wright and Stuart Finlay, but the number of games that these guys have played, it's huge. And even a shout out for Ash Taylor there, man, who's retired for football.
Oh, is he right?
So,
aye, Big Ash.
So who obviously bags full of games, but we're badly lacking an experienced head at the back. At this time though, I don't see signing him, if I'm being honest.
2 words, Kirk Broadfoot. Next.
Aye. He's also got in touch to ask, do we need a defensive coach?
I mean, we need a lot more on a defensive
Superman.
coach, aye, exactly, but it's not going to happen. So no. I think we'll end up going to it would be nice to bring in an experienced head, but I can't see it, mate, unfortunately.
No money.
No.
Bullet's got in touch to say McCann's Dundee team played brilliant football, but even with former English international at the back, they shipped too many goals. Are we concerned that this will be a theme in McCann ball? We are so narrow that both fullbacks are always isolated, and Watson doesn't have the positional temperament to play in a 2, meaning we're likely to ship goals galore every game.
Aye, I don't really know how else to respond to that. He's analysed it beautifully. You kind of touched on that stuff with the Dundee team. So I think Alan's absolutely spot on there.
Yeah,
man.
Mind Big Colker was it Dundee?
Big Colker, aye.
He was good as well.
Big centre half, mate. Aye, very
I
good.
thought he was destined to go to Celtic, and it never happened.
No.
With Dakars moving to Korea, what are your favourite random transfer deals? Is what Slippers has asked, Kelly related or otherwise.
Random transfer deals. Aye, Dakars to South Korea is right up there, innit? Very out of the ordinary. Any you can hinky?
There's got to be one.
Aye.
There's got to be.
I mean, Julian Faubert's pretty decent.
Aye.
That was a good man getting him.
Rock up at Rugby Park, man. I'm sure that there's not quite the same, but Bobby Williamson rocking up in Kenya and all that's quite.
Aye.
I know it's no like player transfer wise,
and
but
Dylan Kerr, his career was quite unusual as a coach.
away everywhere. And then us again to bring in the Nigerians, man, Papa Idris and Ruben Gabriel, that were allegedly got to play in the Premier League after us, and there was hundreds of agents and all that apparently involved. So weird. Aye,
very, very strange.
Another kind of random one. It wasn't quite after he left us, but I think he went. It was Kyle Lafferty. He went to Linfield and ended up at the juniors.
Aye.
Random one.
I can't say I was blown when I'm signing for Linfield. I did. I could have squared that circle quite quickly. Kyle over there.
Can't believe he never signed for the Cruise over there, man. That's what I thought he was destined.
No, that's quite a good question. But I think you will go quite a distance to figure out Marcus Dacker's after 4 goals gone to South Korea. Unusual.
But see the thing is, I've alluded to this before, like, see the amount of football players that they get, they just get DMs for agents on Instagram.
Aye.
Like Robbie's had it 100 times. I thought, like, try to get in Dubai and Qatar and all that.
What about Lee Irwin got to Iran?
Lee Irwin got to it.
Oh,
come on, mate.
Try not to mention that,
Censor
man.
one, innit?
Aye, sorry, folks.
Have a bit of respect.
I'm trying to be respectful. Aye,
Mikey Stewart out here, man.
Aye, I'll put my foot in it again. Right, move on, Jamie, man, move on.
So Al #1's asked, with an aggregate score of 9-2 over 3 games and a very easy 9 points, what are Falkirk doing better than Kelly on and off the park?
Off the park, if I can come in right away, it's that football operations where the guy raised it, the AGM member.
Oh,
like
aye.
It was him that called getting that Jamie Sweeney or whatever in, like years ago when he was at Steny. Falkirk acted on that, and for then on, like, they've just had a really coherent and evidence plan going forward, and they're absolutely reaping the rewards and all that after being, and it was like this grunge set out every week and all that. Don't get me wrong, 15 year out the tap flight's got to do that to you, but I think the Falkirk are really Motherwell are the massive envy of the Diddy teams now, but Falkirk are not far behind them.
Aye, no, great answer, mate. Nothing really to add to that.
Aye, big turnout as well. You like to see that in the top flight.
They're doing very well, mate. Any question?
Then Scouser 2's come in to say we are currently conceding an average of 2 goals per league game, a poor defensive record which doesn't seem to improve despite the managerial changes. Neil McCann has changed the attacking lineup since taking over, but in the main has seemed reluctant to alter the individual defenders and defensive midfielders. He's then went on to say, are the options sitting on the bench in the stands that worse than his current selections, and also do you think Neil McCann is now wishing he had added a defender in January, which many of us had hoped he would have?
Aye, no, I think that's fair. We kind of covered that stuff. Great observation. And I suppose my concern now is that there isn't any changes. That he's got his kind of favourites that he likes, and he's just going to run with it, because I think that would be a huge error. Time will tell.
If it's not going to work now, it's not going to work.
Exactly, it would have started working by now.
Aye.
So we'll see.
Barbino has come in to say, aware that the patter thus far has been rightly defence minded, so with that in mind, should we go for a centre back duo, Williams and Stanger, with Strike and Nets? Our defence is leaking like a fucked fridge and can't get any worse.
Such a beautiful turn of phrase, and it was so nice to hear you saying that.
Exactly, I know. My mum won't be happy with that.
No, exactly. that right, cut out the Iran thing and that.
Aye, exactly, I know.
Right, so that's what I'm not watching them train every day, but it seems like a fairly obvious thing to do is to change it up at the back. I'm not convinced we'll see 2 new centre halves, so maybe 1.
Nah, I think it's got to be done in stages, isn't it? But I think that we just need some combination at the back, which is the most obvious things, the centre halves. But even if we can get Mayo back in, right back would maybe make a bit of a difference. But again, it's weird that there's been no update on him.
Nah, I know,
so
very
something that we're due to find out.
I don't know if I'd particularly trust Williams, to be honest. I've seen him a few times. He's no tick the boxes.
Doesn't
for me.
look apart to me, maybe.
Weird, because when we signed him in the summer, I thought it was a good bit of business as well. Like, he played a lot of football for his age, and he was captain and all that. And again, it's cruel, like, you know what I mean, pretty grim. But he played a lot of football, but he's just come up here and it looks like he's not fancied that at all. Very kind of Brandon Hunstropy, like.
Aye, fair enough.
With regards to like somebody that he had a great
pedigree, but it's just not quite worked.
Aye.
Right, okay.
All the Wine has left it quite open and just said, Davy Watson, discuss.
Davy Watson, discuss.
That's quite wide, isn't it?
I don't know. I think he's obviously leaving the club. I'd be very surprised if there's anything else happens there. And I just think there's maybe 2 things happening at once with Watson, my opinion. He's maybe never been quite as good as we hoped he was, right? He burst onto the scene, tremendous athletic player, had a goal in him, works like a dog man, goes and hunts players down, and we love all that. But I mean, one point we're talking about 3-4 million for the guy. He's probably never been at that level, right? But we were just getting excited. You're comparing him to Lennon Miller, who's on a different level in terms of footballing ability. My worry now is Watson, who's done phenomenally well for this football club, played a lot of games, captain Scotland under-21s, that there's going to be a kind of negative ending to his time, and I think that's a shame. That's
my big worry. I can absolutely see what you're saying, but I'm still going to defend the wee man. I honestly think he's quality, and I know you're not saying that he's no, but I've seen that this, and a lot of folk are on this boat now, man. But I just think that we've mismanaged it so far in the last couple of years, particularly under McInnes not playing him. Folk will say, oh, he's vindicated now. Then you're getting somebody getting into the last year's contract. I think the time was in the summer to really make a statement, make him captain, get a 2-3 year deal. Folk will say, oh, you never know if the club have done it, but for me, he's got to be more inclined to sign a deal if he's get made the captain and all that, right? He started the season in fire under Kettlewell when things were going well. Like, he was undoubtedly one of our best players, and everybody was saying the opposite, saying, oh, this is McInnes hasn't been playing him, now look at it. Then all the talk of contract, still a young guy, like, his head's up his arse now, man, you know what I mean? He doesn't know where or maybe he does know where he'll be in the summer, but I still think that there's all these circumstances. We saw it with Danny, with his form dropping off because he didn't know where he was going to be, but he still contributed towards the end. I think that the club could have probably done a lot better, and again, but the fact of the matter is Watson isn't performing, and I'm not excusing that, but I still think that he'll go somewhere else and wrap it up.
Alright,
I was just adding in the Danny Armstrong, but I was going to say I feel like there was maybe a wee point in January similar to what we had with Armstrong in the summer, when we just his last season, the summer before that, we got a wee offer. It wasn't quite his full value, but it was still a substantial amount of money, and I feel like maybe, considering he was alright in his last season as Armstrong, but similar to David Watson now, hasn't he been the same player, would have taken the money there and then to get a player that could potentially come in and offer a bit more.
Possibly. So there was obviously that offer for him in January, but we'll see how it goes. But that's my worry, that it's going to end in a sour note, which he doesn't deserve because he's been brilliant.
Nah,
definitely. So Bluebeard has got in touch to say, what in the name of the wee man was that formation supposed to be on Saturday? Was it a 2-5-3? That was tactical suicide against a zippy young Falkirk side. Surely that's binned for good.
Aye, well, that's it, mate. I think they've got to make changes, man. And as Cal said, I would have changed it at half time, but a big change needed for the Hearts game, mate. That's what I'd say.
Kelly Blues has said, batter or no batter for a pizza from a chippy.
For a half pizza supper?
Wee pizza crunch, or just a half pizza supper.
I wouldn't go with batter on the pizza, just the pizza and the chips is enough for me, would you think?
Aye.
I'm quite anti-chippy, man.
I don't love a chippy, that's the truth.
Really?
I am not a big chippy. What's your chippy?
If
I was going to get something for the chippy, I would either just get a fish supper, but I like mushy peas.
Classic.
Or black pudding, I think.
Black pudding supper's good.
Tremendous, but I just don't feel good after a chippy.
You feel minging, don't you? Even Ken, if you have like certain Chineses and that, you feel horrible. But chippy's different level of grease, man.
Definitely.
What would you have for the chippy?
It depends. I'm sometimes a sausage supper, I'm sometimes a pizza, but I'm no pizza with batter.
No.
Too much just crap on it.
Aye.
It's just got to be basic.
There we go.
That's answered it, man.
This is us getting into the real question.
Exactly.
Right?
This is the stuff that folk want to know.
This is what folk are really interested in, man.
Kelly Stevo has said, I had been really encouraged by the upturn in our performance and style in general since McCann and Dodds have come in, but Saturday has totally slapped the optimism out of me again. Oh God, voice crack. That's terrible. Really disappointed by the lack of in-game management when it was obvious that the system wasn't working inside the first 5 minutes. Is it time to bring Stanger back into the fold? He wasn't a world beater, but at least looked like he could do the no-nonsense stuff reasonably well. Brandon has to come in for me, Thompson too. I've struggled to see any benefits he offers defensively or in attacking sense.
Aye, so I think there you go. If you can bring Brandon in, maybe Stanger in.
Aye.
Jack Thompson maybe to play in the middle of the park, seems to be able to kind of play that screening role a bit better. To me, that's a positive thing to try and change. So
definitely,
aye. Points.
That's the thing, is that there should be options there. You know what I mean? But
there's enough players there, so
just waiting to see them.
Aye. So then Pie Boys said, hi lads, another shocker from the lads on Saturday. Is it time to start panicking? All eyes on the Hearts game, I guess. In other news, will Dackers now be the tallest man in South Korea? He will have some size about him down in that league, surely.
Aye, so time to start panicking. I've been panicking probably since November. Silently panicking.
Well, then when I met him in November, called that we were going down then.
Aye.
Panicking, I wouldn't say panicking now, because I still fancy us to win a playoff, to be honest, man. But it's one of them, the amount of folk that were really confident got United, I wasn't, man. I thought a point was a great result. And I was the same got to Falkirk. Falkirk have been good all season, man.
Who said we were going to get a clean sheet and win up there?
What?
Falkirk.
Did you?
Me, yeah.
Aye.
I got a text from Merck earlier on saying that, man. He's like, he was just listening to it the day. Like last week's. Aye.
What kind of psychopath does that?
You telling me you've got a life or something, mate? Come on, podcast first. And he was like, aye, the comments have aged well. But listen, that's, as I said to him, that's why they pay me the big bucks, man.
Aye,
No, I mean,
the big predictions.
And as we say on here, man, as much as I'm saying that I'm not looking forward to the Hearts game this time next week, I'm predicting us to beat them.
Probably beat them 2-1.
Still never go against the Kerry, man.
Aye, definitely. So then, final question of the forums. Vanilla Dijon's asked, own goal in the first set, in the first minute, set the tone. In a flash, all the positivity from the past few months evaporated, and it was Kettlewell Doolan's team out there again. We have 2 weeks. Is this the time to finally try something new with the back line? My missus saved me from myself on Saturday and asked me to come to the swing park with her in the Wayne. And as I was switching the TV off, Falkirk scored the third. After that, I had a lovely afternoon. So when have you turned off a game to do something better, and when has it come back to haunt you?
So I definitely make changes. Turned off a game.
Or left.
I mean, I've left. I went. I'll leave. I think it's alright to leave when you're doing 3. I know some folk don't agree with that, right? But if you're doing 3 or 4 and you're away from home, you've got better things to be doing with your time. I think you've already paid your money, you've shown your support to the club. It's not working for you, don't want to ruin your day. But I've left some games where we've been like drawn on that because I'm too bored.
Aye, and some of that's different. That's the kind of do it type thing. But ones that I've left to regret, we're going to talk about this in the Patreon, actually, the 22-23 season. But me and all the boys left Motherwell if we're doing 2-0. And then when we were getting out the ground, we heard about we got a man sent off as well. So we're thinking, and then we're into this pub at Motherwell, and then we pull it back to 2 each. But a few of the boys, and again, a few of them listen, but we Kyle Lennon obviously follows Kelly everywhere, home and away, but they patched the Dundee away last season at 2-0.
Oh, and won 3-2.
And then we came back and won 3-2, man. So that was one that they missed it on, unfortunately. But so when you're there for the day out and you're boozing and all that, like, and even Dundee there, but I left after about 10 minutes or something like that. And then we scored on our way out, and I was just like, it doesn't matter. I goes, we'll never win anyway, and I was vindicated.
The worst one ever for me on the telly was Liverpool AC Milan.
No.
Champions League final. When got to half time, Liverpool doing 3-0. I'm like, AC Milan have won. And we went into the band practice, me and your brother and Dodge and all that. And and I just totally missed the greatest comeback in football history, probably.
Greatest comebacks, Man United.
Against who?
Bayern Munich.
I seen that one. I was in the house then.
Because what I've said before about Istanbul is that it'd be different if there's still so much time left. They should go and win the game then if it was that great. Whereas Man United were dead and buried in injury time and went and won it. Liverpool's it's 3 each with like half an hour to go.
Aye.
Don't do anything, man. And then they've got all extra time, don't do anything.
It's just that's the Man U fan and I'm talking, man. I couldn't let Liverpool get one.
Me and him alike.
But I still watched Istanbul. I remember it in the flesh, man.
No, I remember the Man U one very well, but so I missed it in that one.
I'd love to say I'd watched any of them, but I think I was not exactly very alive at that point.
Alright, man.
Oh, you're not even alive in Istanbul?
No. When was Istanbul?
No,
I was nowhere near alive. I was not even about.
Oh god,
scary, man.
Show my age wee bit.
Alright, mate, right, move on swiftly again. Cut that out, taste too, man. That's the swearing, the Iran stuff and me being old. Right, keep it going.
So
where are we heading now, man?
We're on to the Twitter now, I think.
Okay.
So Salopi and Kelly said, if Dackers is worth at least 100 grand, do you feel there is a chance he can persuade his new employers to sign Thompson? If you had to choose one word for Saturday, what would it be? Mine's Hochin. Should it have been 10-1?
One word for Saturday.
The word that you don't know the meaning of yet.
I can't. I'll just go deflating would be mine.
It's probably how a Rangers fan feels after yesterday.
Right. Oh, you would, Ken.
Still I'm well in that boat now, man. I know we can't talk about Celtic. Can't talk about Celtic anymore. Chronic.
Good word.
Aye. The Kelly Adventures, as I said, long time no tweet. I've never left a game early before until Saturday. I think McCann summed it up well, that there was no fight in the team. Where you go to play against a team like Falkirk and the amazing travel and support, the least expects a bit of fight.
Well, there you go, and that says everything if John's deciding that he's had enough. Who's obviously, and congratulations, we neglected to say on air, congratulations to John for getting the disabled liaison officer as well. Tremendous appointment.
Aye, absolutely.
No problem with that. Great guy.
Absolutely delighted for him, man. Obviously, him and Lindsay follow the club everywhere. They're there all the time, and two absolutely great folk. And over the moon for John.
Aye, a positive
brilliant appointment for the club.
Yeah.
Definitely. So Graham Johnston has came in to say, I reckon I must be in a pretty exclusive club of those who've seen all 180 minutes of our 8-2 aggregate thrashing by Falkirk. Love to say I was there too. No judgment on those who left early either time, and I find myself wondering exactly why I stayed. In a season of many lows, was this the lowest low?
I need to come in there quickly as well, that for all the times that I've said I've just left early, including I did 3 or 4 times this season, I've seen all 180 minutes versus Falkirk this year.
Workhurst.
Good.
This season, even though, and famously, of course, the first one up at Falkirk was when the 2020 bus left at half time.
Aye, but you had the car, didn't you?
Aye, well, I was up in the Valley bus and
did it stay to
aye, and I wasn't drinking, so that was a terrible decision.
Good for you, mate. Good for you.
We're fans.
Lowest to the low?
This season, I still think, although it was grim, I don't know, I'm not as hurting as everybody else seems to be. I'm obviously annoyed and pissed, but I still think just like, well, the lowest of the low for me was a point in Kettlewell in the summer, but I think we've all went over that time and time again, and I think that the last time felt worse for me, and I don't know why, because obviously a 5-1 mile was worse, but I just think that seen enough to think that a lot of the damage was done before McCann and Dodds came in the building, but I still think that we'll probably be alright. That's not me saying that we'll finish 10th or anything like that, but I think that in a playoff I would still fancy us.
The lowest point for the season for me was the Hearts game at Rugby Park.
Oh, that was grim.
I absolutely hated it, man.
After the big build-up.
After the big build-up, I got
that's where
myself in
everything
off a state.
Went wrong as well, wasn't
So, but it's not been a good season. But I'll see Graham on Wednesday. Me and him are going to Arran.
Oh, yes.
Aye, just none to do with work, just we fancy it.
Sounds good, man. Can I come?
Aye, if you want, mate. Aye.
The real Boydies said, what do you think the chances are of having a chat with Ash Taylor and convincing him to rethink his retirement and sign till the end of the season, get straight into the team? We were mentioning this in the car. Seriously, it's worth some form of throw the dice to get some of these defenders out the team.
Aye. Well, you could.
If you might say what you were saying about Ash Taylor.
I thought when you were saying, is it worth having a chat with Ash Taylor about someone else, because there's been some allegations made.
Very serious allegations.
Coaching responsibilities they had for people allegedly.
If Ash wants to come on,
we'll no incriminating.
Can clear it all up. But I would probably play.
Aye.
Which is a concern. He's exactly the type of thing we need.
Aye, we do. He was a big. I can at times we've got to come on to it and the deep dive as well, but it's certainly contributed in the championship. Started to like when we got promoted, you could see why he was at our level before that, but he still actually contributed that season, particularly towards the end.
Aye.
Definitely. So Stephen Hope has got in touch to say, I like many others went up to Falkirk full of optimism, sat down, OG first minute. 2 words for the performance: defensively woeful. Do we use some of the Dackers' money on a defensive coach as we are shipping too many cheap goals? Teams not having to play that well against us to win. I think he's spot on, probably.
Aye. But I don't know what they'll do with the Dackers. I don't know if they'll be able to spend it.
No, find him at centre half.
Well, maybe take all the boys down to Troon for our own slice, like our own sausage.
Get on about the beach.
Get him back up.
Like Lee Clark did.
Ali Nevins come in touch to say, outside of Greg Kelty, who deserves to keep their place for the Hearts fixture, and how oh my god, and how do you rate the start by Neil McCann after 2 wins in 9, a few pumpings, poor performances, and some credible fight backs? That was his team on Saturday. They were walloped easily, as we saw Stuart Kettlewell's team at times.
So McCann gets a 5 out of 10 for me. That's what I would say.
Half time.
I think up until Saturday they've probably been closer to like a 6.5, 7. But I mean that's the worst result we've had this season, I would say. So that brings them right back down. So 5 out of 10 for me. And in terms of somebody that would keep their place, I mean there's going to be 6 or 7 who'll keep their place. So it's kind of as what it is. But Kelty was the one for me that stood out.
Kelty's the only one now that's. And the irony is that the reason Kilty's the only one that's coming out of this formation looking decent now.
Aye, it's maybe suiting him. Aye.
So that's the irony, is that I want us to change formation, but Kilty's definitely been the benefiting out of this, because he's shown what he can do when he's played through the middle. So aye.
Right, pick a couple of questions because we're running out of time. Pick 2 interesting ones.
So we've got
No pressure.
Aye.
No pressure on the people sending it to you. If your question gets picked here, then you're Jamie's favourite,
exactly.
right?
Lottery ticket.
Exactly, you're winning.
So Peters asked, do we stick with McCann and Dodds if we're relegated?
So difficult to say.
It's a horrible question,
because
man.
there's so many variables. I suppose the manner of the relegation matters, I think, there. Because if you get to a playoff and end up losing on penalties or something, or whatever, and you never know what the circumstances that might be. You might be done to the bare bones. You might have 9 players and get beat on penalties, and it's like tough to take, and you see enough. But if you end up you could finish bottom of the league, then the day need to go, I think. So very, very tough to answer at this stage, I would say.
Well, I covered it last week, where I think that even if you do see enough, you've still not ultimately done the job that you are brought in here to do.
I'd be plenty of time to do it.
And despite the fact, and it's exactly the same as the Tommy Wright thing, because I think that the damage was done and we wouldn't do under Dyer, but there's still more than enough time to claw back points, and the mood's set. Then you start the next season with no goodwill in the bank, and I think inevitably it just doesn't work. Like, it's almost like, again, the Kettlewell appointment, even in the summer, started with no credit in the bank. Even when things were going alright, 1 or 2 defeats, then folk are hounding for them, and I think that would just ultimately what would happen. Even if we do end up playing all this great football and that, they'll still always have the black mark of been one of the only two managers in my lifetime that have relegated Kelly.
Yep,
I don't
interesting,
think
man.
it'd work in the Championship, that football. I think we'd get gubbed.
Aye.
I really do. So, final question out of the lottery. FM81 has asked, thanks for your work, lads. It's everyone's fit. Who's your defensive choices? If everyone's fit, who's your defensive choices? Brandon, Mayo, Dees, Michael, Schoen, Larson in a 4, or go a 3, have Brandon and Michael, Schoen, Larson wing backs with a central 3 of Mayo, Dees and Ethan Brown, or Stanger, or neither of the above. Bonus question, what Smith's song best describes us? Still Ill?
What Smith's song describes Kelly?
Aye.
I Still Ill's a good one.
Please let me get what I want.
Please, please, please let me get what I want. Suffer Little Children. That's a Smith song, and I'm feeling that.
That's right.
Stop me if you think they've heard this one before. This Charming McCann.
That's a good one. That's good.
These is Murder. No offence to Robbie, we actually love Robbie, man, but it's just aye, so one of them.
That's better with that, doesn't it?
Aye, the comedy comes first, man. I mean, you know what that question's highlighted to me? There are options to change it here. It's just my concern now is, will McCann be bold enough to change it? That would be my big concern, mate. I don't know about you.
I don't see it, but we've said all this before. Well, ultimately, because if the time to change it's now, and if he doesn't change it now, it's never going to happen.
The time is now.
The time is now. So
what have you thought sitting next to me?
I know, it's strange, isn't it?
It's been different.
It feels like weird guests on somebody else's podcast.
Why don't you ask Cal any question you want about any topic? Politics is fine.
Just know our own, mate.
Aye.
I'll go. I can't go with that. Can I?
No.
I'll go a classic desert island. 3. If you're on a desert island, 3 things you're taking. Dodgy fire stick.
Aye, that I know, man. It's horrific, man, to think of, isn't it?
Aye. Want me to answer for you?
Aye. What do you think I would
What
take?
would you take?
Aye.
You would Fraz Cairns' flag.
Aye, to sleep in, man.
To sleep in rotate so he felt closer to him.
Aye.
Nicola Sturgeon's autobiography.
Nah, no
Balance.
chance. No chance, man.
Balance.
You know that, no way, man. Alex Salmon's The Dream Will Never Die, maybe.
And a fridge with a wee bit of chocolate in it, so in the middle of the night you can go get a wee snack, man. He loves a wee snack. He goes at the middle of the night, goes up, goes down the stair, quiet as a mouse, opens his wee fridge,
Gulp of milk, man.
Wee gulp of a wee bit of chocolate. Back up to his
Oh,
bed.
the wee
He's a
big
cutie.
chocolate bar that you get for your birthday that's been sitting there
Keeps
for
it in the
4 months.
fridge.
That's what I
Yeah,
asked him,
chocolate in
man.
the fridge. Yes,
Nah,
I
I'm
know.
Yeah, my mum's a big advocate
aye.
of
No, I'm
chocolate.
chocolate in the cupboard, man.
If it's open,
Aye. Oh, I thought you kept it in the fridge.
No,
If it's-
that would make more sense because I'm going into the fridge for the milk, but I still go to the extra effort to get into the
If
cupboard.
it's a big bar and you've opened it in the fridge, if it's a wee small one, that goes in the cupboard under the work surface. That's what you do.
There we go.
Get a wee cupboard.
That's a good shout, that, man.
Aye.
Oh, I need to address something as well last week. The ignorance of me.
Right.
So remember when we get asked about our favourite soups?
Yes.
And I went through everything, blah, blah, blah. My sister Julie was absolutely fuming with me
Was she?
because no less than 2 hours before, I was at Herbert having a bowl of lentil soup and I never mentioned it, which was brilliant, Julie, so thanks very much for that. So
There you go.
One of the good books for that.
so apologies to my sister, who does make a mean lentil soup and toasty combo, which has
Excellent.
now became a Monday night dinner because
Aw.
Alice and Tutor's on the house on a Monday, so I just avoid getting home until I come here. But you picked me up for the house that time. I went in for 10 minutes and that was me.
Good. There we go. We've got to the heart of the matter eventually. Jamie, you did very well, mate.
Thank you very much. I've really enjoyed that actually.
Well, we're delighted to have you on board, and I'm sure you'll go very high. What age are you?
So, 16.
16.
Wow, mate, you were genuinely different class, man.
Excellent.
Very good,
So,
mate. aye.
thank you so much for doing that, man. Right, well, I'll not be here next week. So, who are you calling up for the subs bench? You got a plan yet?
I've got one confirmed
Right.
and a second as well.
Okay.
So, and then we'll try and work it out, and then we'll get Jamie involved as well. So
Excellent.
take it
Brilliant.
from there.
Happy days. So, I hope everybody's all right after that. You've at least got a break this weekend.
Aye.
You can go and do something else with your Saturday and
Book
no
that
watch Kelly.
therapy session.
That's it. That's sometimes what this turns into. But sincere thanks to everybody as always for listening and for sharing the pod and for asking your questions and all that. We appreciate it. It's not been the easiest of seasons to talk about, but we're still here doing it. I'll not be here next week. Cal will with the special guests, the Travelling Wilburys. But I'll be back in 2 weeks' time. You'll not recognise me because I'll be in my 40s.
You will be, aye.
Aye, so I'm looking forward to it. So Mel said I need to give her a special shout out because she's worked so hard on my birthday. So
She has.
Melanie, thank you, darling.
She has.
We'll see.
I'm well aware.
We'll see. Right, okay, everybody. Right, thanks again, mate.
Thank you very much. It's been great.
And thank you everybody for watching and listening. We'll be back next week to talk all things Killing. Prepare for the Heart of Midlothian game. Thank you very much.